Now, I do not hope that you clicked on this video for validation. The title of this video, as you most likely saw, is Never Try, Never Fail. And, I've heard that once in the movie Robots. If you know that movie, you probably do. And one of the scared, fear, coward character says, never try, never fail. And that has to be the worst advice that one could ever give, because for one, it's not even true. If you never try, in turn, that is failure. Never trying is failing, because you have, I believe, a moral obligation to unlock your potential and become the best version of yourself. So if you never even try, that in itself is a failure. But we won't talk about that too much, because I know that's not the point of the saying, or what it is meant when said in the movie, or what it is meant when said in real life. The people who say never try, never fail are people who are afraid of failing, afraid of going out on a limb and failing, not succeeding, getting people's hopes up, getting their own hopes up. That's what they're afraid of. They're not afraid of, the success, or afraid of, actually pursuing their goals. They're afraid of failing. That's why they don't want to try. So you need to change your mindset upon failing. Your mindset about failing should not be negative. Your mindset about failing should be that of a positive mindset. Because as John Maxwell says, if you fail forward, it's 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 not even a failure in that point. If you fail, you fall on your face, you are further along than you were. And when you get up, you're further along. The only time you fail is if you don't get back up. If you fail and get back up, then it's not a failure. If you, start eating junk food and stop going to the gym and, mess up and whatever it may be, go through a little hard patch in your life. And one day you wake up and you realize that, and you realize, wow, like that was not good. I can never do that again. I got to get back to it. You failed forward, because you failed, but you realized that you can't do that again. So you get back up and you get back on the path, and you're smarter and you're more grateful for the things that you have and the discipline that you show, because you realize how important it is. But if you take that failure, and when you're on your face eating junk food, not going to the gym, and you kind of get the wake up call, but you think you've already wasted so much time. It's going to take so long to get back to the point where you were, and it's going to take so much hard work, and you'll probably just end up falling back into the same old patterns anyway. That's failing, because you're not getting back up. You truly can't determine anything until the end. You can't determine if something was a failure or a success to the end of your life, because as long as you keep getting back up, it's not a failure. But the second you don't get back up is the second it becomes a failure, because you learn your most valuable lessons when you're on your face, when you fail. And you, looking back on your life, you wouldn't say that those things were necessarily failures, because how much you learned from the experience, and how much you grew from the experience, and how much fear you overcame. And you realized, as Seneca says, you were suffering more in imagination than reality. You were suffering more in that imagination that failure was going to be the end of your life, thinking that failure was going to be the death of you. And you failed, and it wasn't that bad, and you actually came out better for failing. And in future situations, you know how to attack the problem, because you've been through it, because you've failed, because you know what not to do. So you need to fail to succeed. Anyone who has succeeded in life, you look at anybody, that you want to become like anyone who is living a life you want to live, anyone who is successful in your eyes, they've failed. There wasn't a cherry picked path to the top. It was a steep climb that they slipped a bunch and they fell flat on their face. But the reason they got to the top is because when they fell on their face, they got back up and they kept going. They didn't sit there and let the, die or sit there or get up and turn around. They got up and proceeded forward. They kept going because they know if they kept at it, they would eventually get there one day and they would eventually become the person they want to be from trying. So you must try. You must try. And you must try your hardest. As Marcus Aurelius says, you need to give your best in all things. And how you can do that, he says, is by realizing that you're going to die and by realizing you don't know when that time is. And upon realizing those things, you realize that this could be the last thing you ever do. This video could be the last thing I ever do. Not just the last video I make, it could be the last thing. You know, my heart could stop during this video or right after this video. These are all possibilities. And if I, gave half effort in this video, my last video, would I feel, would I feel good about myself? Or if I rushed it, if I didn't say what I truly wanted to say, if I didn't get off my mind or off my chest what was on my chest, if to express to you guys how I feel about a subject or to express my true feelings about something because of fear of what other people would think or fear of whatever, if that was the last thing I ever did and I gave 80%, I don't care what it is, I would be ashamed. I don't care if it was, cleaning the toilet. I would rather give 100% if it was the last thing I was going to do than give 80%. Because, what are you saving energy for? I've worked out with people before and they won't train hard. And, without coming out and just flat out saying it, I'll be like, why'd you stop so early? I'll be like, oh, I saving some in the tank, I don't want to burn myself out, it's the start of the workout. And it's like, what did you come here to do? You came here to, in terms of working out, exhaust your muscles, push them past their limits, break them down so they rebuild stronger. That's what happens in the gym. You destroy your muscles essentially, and you give them protein so they build up and they become stronger for being destroyed. And when people are saving themselves for later reps, it's weird to me. I mean, obviously a warm-up set is a warm-up set, but I'm talking about we're in working sets and there's no grimacing, there's no pain, there's nothing, there's nothing. It's just an easy, subtle set. And it's like, imagine if that was the last set you ever did and you left, like 4 reps in the tank. Why would you feel good about that? Would you? I mean, I personally wouldn't. And I understand you can't go to failure every single set, but I'm just saying, I mean, and I know I'm bringing a lot of workout references into it, but I feel like it's almost easier to articulate like that with the metaphor. But it goes for everything. It goes for life too. It goes for pursuing your goals. If you know there's something you should do, know there's something you should give an extra effort to, go the extra mile, and you don't because you're saving your energy for later, for tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow is the greatest lie ever told. There is no tomorrow. You only have today. You only have this present moment. The past is certain, the future is doubtful, and the present is um, brief. The present is brief. Right when I was saying that, in the present moment, it's already gone. Dead. That is dead time. It is given to death. Since the start of this video, I've given time to death. It's probably been like 10 minutes. 10 minutes to death. And, I'm happy I can look back upon it and realize, I tried. This video might get 0 views, and nobody might like this video, and people might laugh at me, But that doesn't matter. None of that matters because this could potentially be the last thing I ever do. So I'm going to give my all. I'm going to give my best. I'm going to try because I'd rather try and fail than never try at all, which is an even greater failure. At least when I try and fail, I can fail forward and I can learn from my mistakes and I can become better for them. But if you don't even try, you just fail without any lesson other than the lesson that not trying is the worst thing you can do. And if you don't get that lesson soon, you probably will never get it. So don't ever say never try, never fail, because like I said, it's wrong for one, and failure is not bad. You must fail to win. You must fail to grow. You must fail to do so many things. You learn more in failure than success. What are you learning when you do something and you just get success and praise? And what did you learn? I mean, you learn that what you're doing is, maybe the right thing, but when you fail and you get constructive criticism and you realize what not to do in the future, think about how much growth is there. Think about how much potential is there to become a better person, to become better, to do great things. There's so much potential there. So you should love to fail. You should love the idea of failure and how much you can grow from failure. That idea should light a spark in you and you should love it. So learn to love to fail and learn to understand if you will it, you will fail forward.